Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It is officially 2025 as I'm recording this. This is the first video I'm going to be posting in 2025 too. So that's cool. Anyway, in today's video we are going to do a 2024 wrap-up of every single book that I read in 2024. These will be in order of which I read them and like the months. So yeah, but I will say I did have 3 6-star reads this year, and they're put in like a separate pile, and I'll come back to them at the very end and tell you what books those are. So that's how I'm doing this. So anyway, let's just get started. And yeah, so the first book that I finished this year was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This book, I honestly don't remember that much from it, but that is kind of my own fault because I initially started it in September of 2023, and then like I took a break reading it for like months and months, and then only started reading it again in like kind of late, very late December, and I think I finished it in January. So I don't remember that much, but I rated it 4 stars from what I did remember from it. This rating is from when I started my reading journal, which was like in, I think, May-ish. So yeah, I started the reading journal in May, so that's when I put the rating for this, because I don't think I initially rated it when I finished it. So I rated it from what I remembered from it, so, which isn't much. But yeah, this was a decent book. But yeah, anyway, moving on, the next book I read, which is like a couple months later, in like March I read this. I don't remember exact dates, but I read this one in March, and that one is Gone to See the Riverman by Christopher Triana, I think is how you say the name. This is like a graphic adult horror, and it's disgusting, but it's also a pretty good book. I rated it 5 stars because it was very good, but also gross. And also the main character is a horrible person and they suck. But that's kind of a trend in both of the books. But anyway, the next one I read, which I think I started in March and finished in April, I think. I didn't have my reading journal during this time, so I don't remember. These dates are guessed. So the next one I read is Along the River of Flesh, which is the second book to Gone to See the Riverman. And this is also a pretty good book. All I have to say about this one is that, what's his name? What even? Keith sucks. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about this book. And I rated it 4.5 stars. So a little bit lower than the first one, but yeah. And then for April, the first one I read is If This Gets Out by Sophie Gonzalez and Cale Dietrich. I don't know if that's correct on how to pronounce their names, but yeah, this is like a queer romance, and they're in a band, and their managers and stuff are being homophobic. So that's like the plot of this. There's other stuff too, so like there's drug use and stuff like that, and yeah, so if you're, just look up the trigger warnings if you're sensitive to kind of stuff like that. But this is a pretty good book. I rated it 4.5 stars. Initially, I didn't like this book as like that much, but thinking back to it, I do like it, because I keep thinking about this book even like months later. But I might have to reread this one because I don't remember how much I liked it, because The reason why it's 4.5 is mostly because what I remember was because of the ending. That's why I rated it 4.5, but I don't know. I think I have to reread that one because I don't remember how much I get at. My goodness. Anyway, don't worry about that. But anyway, the second book I read, I only read 2 books in April, but the second book I read is 1984 by George Orwell. Obviously a classic. This is like the best boring book you'll read. Like, there is, like, that's the best way to describe it. It's like really good, and there's like really good messaging, but there's just points where it's so boring. But it is really good at the same time. So I would say you should read it, even though there is like a decent amount of boring bits in there. But I rated this a 4.75 stars. Yeah. And then moving on is May, which are these books. And the first one I finished in May is this one, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I love this book. It's just so cute. It's so fluffy. And it's like, this is the very first book that I have finished in a day, I think. I don't remember if I've ever finished a book in a day before 2024. I might have. I don't remember. I could have. But this is just such a cute. It's just so good. This is like a very cozy book, and I do actually want to reread this one because I want to go through and tab it and stuff, because at the time I didn't have any annotating things. So yeah, this one I rated a 4.5 star. So yeah, that's that one. And then this month did have a 6-star read, but we're gonna skip over it and then I'll come back to it at the end, like I said I would. But anyway, the next one I read, which I read like months after I read the first one, is Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, which is the second in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I can't talk properly, okay? I don't know what's going on. This is normal for me though. I can never talk. But it's slightly strange for me to read like series not back to back, because that's what I usually do. But yeah, I didn't for this trilogy for some reason. I don't know why. Each book I've read like months apart. I don't know. But this one, I rated this one a 5-star. I know a lot of people I've heard don't like this book. Like, this is their least favorite out of the trilogy. But for some reason, I really liked it. I don't know. It was just good. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. The last one that I finished in May is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This one is so, it's so good. This is a 5-star. I initially put it at 5.5, but I don't think it is a 5.5. I think it's just a 5-star. I think I was lying to myself. But yeah, this book, really good. Just amazing. If you're looking, I will say it is like kind of confusing at times. I don't know. It's just good. I'm not good at describing books, so I'm gonna stop trying. So and then I'm just gonna move on and we're gonna stop trying to describe books. But then we got what month is this? This is June. Oh geez, this is the month where I read the most books. I read 7 books in June, and that is because I read, oh geez, give, my goodness. I read in 9 days the first 5 books of Percy Jackson. Yeah, I read like, I think I think I read 3. Yeah, I read 3 of these in one day. And when I say one day, I mean each. I don't mean I read all of them in the same day. I mean I read, like, I read the second one and then I read the last 2 all in one day. And by all in, you know what I mean. I read them each in their separate day. But yeah, I just, all of these are 5 stars, by the way. This entire month, every book is 5 stars. And then, because I didn't have the 6th Percy Jackson book, I went and read the first Heroes of Olympus book, The Lost Hero. I'm gonna be honest, I really liked this one. I rated it 5 stars. I personally think when people are like complaining that Percy is not in this book, that's why they don't like it. I think that's kind of dumb. I think it's a dumb reason to not like a book just because one character isn't in it. Like, he's in the next one. Just read this, you'll get him in the next book. I personally think that's just dumb, but people can have their opinions. But yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I actually rated I rated the very last Percy Jackson book 6 stars. I forgot I did that. I forgot. I guess we have another 6 star. But I forgot I did that, so it's not gonna be at the end. But anyway, yeah, I really like this book. I don't personally get why people didn't, but that's my opinion. But anyway, the final book that I read in June was the 6th Percy Jackson book, Chalice of the Gods, and this is also a 5-star read. So yeah, all of them really good. And yeah, and that is what started my 4-month-long reading slump, by the way. So yeah. But anyway, going into July, what did I read in July? Oh yes, it was these 2. So I read the first book. I only read 2 books in July, but you know, it's good for being in a reading slump, honestly. But I read On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but this book, I really like this book. This is also 5 stars. You're gonna notice real quick, I am not like picky about giving books 5 stars. If I like the book, I'm giving it 5 stars. I don't care. I'm not one of those people that are like really picky and are like, this book has to be very specific and has to have all these criterias to be 5 stars. No, if I really like the book, I'm gonna rate it 5 stars. So yeah. But anyway, this is really good. It's written, it's like poetry, honestly. I don't know if that's what it actually is, but I just like it. This is also the very first book I've ever like annotated by tabbings and stuff. When I first started annotating, I didn't write in my books, but I've started to now because I want to. But anyway, moving on, the next book that I read is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This is also a 5-star read for me. I personally don't get why people don't really like this book, because I personally loved it. It also, I think it might have made me cry a little bit at the end. But like, I personally really like the book. I don't really get why people didn't, but you know, people have different tastes, so I don't know. But I really enjoyed it. It's just like a nice fluffy romance, you know? And I like that. But anyway, moving on, in August, I finished 2 books. One of them's a 6-star read, so you'll see that one in the end. And the other book I finished is This is How You Lose the Time War. And this book also just beautiful. I like put this in the same category as like On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. Like the writing is just like beautiful. I will say it can be like kind of confusing at times, but at the same time it's just really pretty and like lyrically written, and I really like that. So yeah. Anyway, the next one, in September I didn't finish any books, by the way. Yeah, no books were finished in September. So we're just skipping past right to October. And how many books? I finished 2, but one of them I started and finished like in November-ish. But anyway, the first one I finished is Percy Jackson, Wrath of the Triple Goddess, which is the 7th Percy Jackson book. Love this book. I love all the Percy Jackson books. They're very good, so this one was an obvious 5-star. So I don't think it's possible for me to rate a Percy Jackson book like not 5 stars, because they're just fun and they're just good and I like them. Moving on, the next one I finished was The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. What did I rate this one? I rated this one 4 stars. This one's pretty good, but like you gotta get into it a bit to really like it, I feel. Cause like initially it's not like super interesting, but once you get into it and all this stuff happens, I think it's pretty good. I think it's worth reading. It's not the best thriller I've ever read, but it's also, I think, pretty good. So, yeah. And then we go into November, and the first book I finished I do not have. It was Intermezzo by Sally Rooney, that one. I started it in October, like I said. And yeah, that one I don't have because it was a library book, but I rated that one 3.75 stars. It was pretty good. It was my very first Sally Rooney book, and I can understand why people like her writing. It's kind of like just like looking into like a chapter of somebody else's life, which is kind of interesting, and it was pretty good. I liked it. And it was like kind of boring, but in a boring, interesting way. It was like kind of the feeling I had with like 1984. But yeah. Anyway, we're in the final books. We're in the final, what am I saying? I don't know. These are the final ones before we get into the 6-star reads. So, cause I technically only finished 1 book in December, and it was like the very beginning of December. So, yeah, I finished it like in the very early morning of December 1st, so it's technically still, I don't know what I'm saying. We're gonna move on. Anyway, the next book is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson, the final book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. As you can see, I read each book months apart for some reason. I don't know why I did this, but I did. But yeah, this one, 5 stars. My review, what the hell? That's the review. Moving on. But it was a good book, but yeah. And then the next book I read is Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is my very first Emily Henry book that I've read, and it was very good. I really liked it. I rated it 4.25 stars. It was a very good book. I just needed like a lighthearted, like simple to read book, because the past 2 books were like either like crazy or like brain numbing. So I just needed a simple one, you know? So yeah, this one was really good. This was also the first book that I ever wrote in. let me see if I can find a part where I wrote in. I just saw one. Where did it go? Well, anyway, I underlined stuff where I was tabbing, but I don't know I'm blind. I just saw a thing where I wrote. Oh. Well, anyway, we're gonna move on. And then, the next book, I actually ended up DNFing it, but I'm still gonna mention it. But, that one is God of the Woods by Liz Moore. It is a very popular book talk book. I just personally didn't care for it. I'm not gonna go too into it because I read it in my last video, so I'm not gonna go too in depth with that one. If you wanna see my review for that, you can go into my last video and watch it. So, yeah, it just wasn't a book for me. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start with our 6-star reads. So, and I'll put my very favorite book at the very end. But anyway, now this is not the book. This is We Free the Stars, but I finished We Hunt the Flame. 1 second, I'm gonna be right back. Sorry for the quick cut. I had to go do something real quick. But anyway, like I was saying, this is not the book. This is the second one, obviously, We Free the Stars. But I finished We Hunt the Flame on like the morning of December 1st, so I counted it for my November reads. But We Hunt the Flame was a 6-star read for me. It's just so good. I think this is a new favorite author for me. Hafsa Faizal. I don't know if that's how you say their name properly. Sorry if I'm not, but you know, I'm not good at pronunciation. But anyway, the way she writes is just so good. I'm reading one of her other books right now, A Tempest of Tea, on my Kindle, and it's just, I have so many underlines, like highlights and stuff in there. It's just so good, and I love her book so much. I'm really excited to read this one. I put a hold on it at the library to read, because, you know, my library that I live like really close to, the one that I went to wasn't like really far away, but they didn't have it at the time, and I saw that a library a little bit further had it, so I put it on hold so I could have it for myself. And yeah, I'm excited to read this one. I'm probably gonna put that in a video. So, but if you want to see like a more in-depth review of We Hunt the Flame, it's not that much more in-depth actually, but I talk about it a bit more. Look at like my previous video. It's in that video. But anyway, the next one I had is a 6-star read. I also don't have, but it's The Alchemist, which is that. I am not a religious person, like at all, and this book is like very much like religious, and like it kind of shows like signs of God and like talking to God and stuff. And I'm not a religious person at all, so you wouldn't think I would really care about a religious book, but I for some reason, this one, I just really liked it. I don't know why. This book I just really enjoyed. It was just very good, and I really liked it. But anyway, moving on to the final book, and the one that is my most favorite. That one is The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schroeffer. I love this book. I've talked about it, I'm pretty sure, in other videos a lot, but it's just so good. It's just amazing. It's just the best book ever. And you would think I would have read the second book to it, but I haven't. The sequel's sitting on my shelf. It's not even on my TBR for this month. Which, by the way, I have recorded that video, so it'll come out like pretty soon after this one. I don't know how soon, but we'll see. I don't know. But this one, I love it so much. I will say, We Hunt the Flame is like pretty close to catching up on my favorites with this one, I will say. They're very close, but this has been like my favorite book for months. It's just so good. It's amazing. The plot line, the story, which is basically the same thing, but it's just so good. Please read this book. If I could make you guys read any book, it'd probably be this one and also We Hunt the Flame, because that one's, it's pretty close on my favorites list, I'll have to say. But anyway, that is it for this video, and that's all the books that I read. I don't think I'm missing any. I'm pretty sure I got all of them. If I'm wrong, then I'm dumb, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed the absolute nonsense that comes out of my mouth, please do make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!